Now, in vitro fertilization, otherwise known as IVF, is a method that has assisted millions of women have their babies and children, and it's a procedure that doctors recommend. It is a method of assisted reproduction in which a man's sperm and a woman's eggs are combined outside of the body in a laboratory dish. Now, one or more fertilized eggs, or embryos as you may call it, may be transferred into the woman's uterus, where they may implant in the uterine lining and development. However, there are several misconceptions surrounding this procedure, ranging from societal beliefs, cultural and religious stands. And we have someone who is going to help us make sense of this. So joining us in the studio to discuss whether or not IVF is a safe method is fertility expert and founder and CEO, Precious Conceptions, Toyin Lolu-Ogunmade. It's nice to have you this morning.
Thank you.
It's been a while that we have you up here.
Yes, it's been a long while. But it's always good to come
No,
back.
of course, it's good to have you around.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the IVF is something that a lot of, the moment you mention that, some people feel it's something for rich people, not for some persons who are here and all of that. But talk to us generally about the knowledge of what IVF is and what it is not.
Okay. Incidentally, it's the Infertility Awareness Month.
Okay.
And IVF is about 44, 45 years old now. So you know it's not something that started yesterday. And the first baby that was born through IVF, Louise Brown, is also a mother herself. And she didn't give birth through IVF. So that's one conception people think. They think because you've had IVF, then your children will automatically have.
So it's not hereditary.
And it's not hereditary. IVF is a bypass procedure. That's what I call it, because you are not particularly treating an ailment, but you are helping that couple that has not been able to achieve a baby on their own do so, with the help of technology. Yeah. So what it does is to look at what the situation is, whether the man or the woman, and then say, what can we do here? If it's the man, it's usually the sperm issues, whether he's not producing or is not able to conduct such that he's able to fertilize the eggs his wife releases, or his partner. If it's the woman, it could be several things. It could be that she's not releasing eggs. It could be that her uterus is not competent enough. It could be that medically she's not well enough to carry a child. And then IVF helps this particular couple to achieve a baby. And there are several variants of IVF. It could be that the couple will need gamete donation, like sperm donor or egg donor, or even surrogacy, the sort that I had, So if what I say is it's assisted technology, it's to help you achieve a purpose. Just like I'm wearing glasses, if I remove my glasses, I can't read Jack, But technology has helped me to read and to function effectively. That's basically what IVF does.
Okay, but you also said now that IVF, and I appreciate the options that IVF give to people. But then you said it's not a correction to an ailment. So one would ask that what happens to that ailment? After IVF have been done. So what happens to the underlying ailment or the inability? What caused the inability to conceive naturally? What happens then?
Okay. So for you to go for IVF, it means you've tried all your best possible and nothing you tried work. For some people, it's because they have a medical situation. For some people, it's because we can't even explain what is going on with them. They are not just making babies together. The funny thing is, either of these partners might go to another person and they are able to achieve a pregnancy together, but with a particular partner they're with, they are not able to do so. And what the plan says is that if you're unable to achieve a pregnancy in the space of 1 year together with frequent unprotected intercourse, then you seek help. So the help is for you to have a baby. And then you can have your baby and then address what the situation is, if it can be reversed. But the good thing is if you go to a fertility specialist early enough, a lot of these illnesses, because infertility has been recognized as a disease, a lot of these issues can be managed, reversed, or corrected early enough. But if you don't do it early enough, or you don't know what to do early enough, then you have that option of IVF. Or maybe you're growing too old and you do not want to waste time trying treatments all over again. Then you can have that alternative in IVF.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the prevailing issues around our society. We are very religious people and cultural people.
Yes.
And you will hear people say all sorts of things from the religious perspective, from the cultural perspectives, and so on. But share with us some of the things you have heard regarding what religious beliefs people have against IVF, or what cultural beliefs people have against IVF.
The first one is you are assisting God. That's the first one.
Okay.
I don't have enough faith. I'm not. How can I assist God? It's only God that gives life. See, at some point in IVF, when we've done our best, you've prepared the man, prepared the woman, you've got the best embryos, you've got the best uterus. The doctor even tells you all is in God's hands. The moment they transfer that embryo, it's on its own. It's in God's hands. There's nothing you can do to assist God. He's the only one that releases life. I've seen people who've done IVF 7 times. I did 3 times before it worked. Yeah? And it doesn't work. And then this person will wake up one day and she's pregnant. And you're wondering, what's going on here? Do you understand me? So the first thing is you're not assisting God. Like I said, I need glasses to read. So technology has helped me. Technology is helping us in this room. The viewers are worldwide, watching us here in Lagos, Nigeria. And technology has helped us transmit information to them.
What some people would have considered witchcraft.
Yes. Because the very first baby that was born, 45, you can imagine, like 45 years ago, her mom faced a lot of difficulty in the church. IVF was not accepted. She was called weird baby. People think that you're assisting God. God has destined you to be barren or without a child. So why are you forcing his hands? That's not the case. The Bible even says none shall be barren. And in these days, you have options to choose from. You can do IVF, you can adopt, Another misconception is that, like I mentioned earlier, if you've gone through IVF, that means your child will also have IVF. That's not true. Another misconception is that IVF babies are not normal. They are 100% normal. My children are normal. They're 11 years old, and I had them through surrogacy.
Amazing.
And even despite the fact that I had them through surrogacy, I was able to nurture them and breastfeed them. So there are ways that technology helps that people. So I find out that when someone does not understand your pathway or he's not aware of what you're doing, they tend to misconstrue and then label with all sorts of stickers and name tag and
So this is about inadequate enlightenment.
Yes. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of hush hush, and that's why we're breaking the silence so that people can know that these things are normal. And in the days of tech and advancement in science, why not embrace it? Another one is that. Okay, so I've mentioned that IVF babies are not normal. They are normal. Even if you don't breastfeed, your babies are normal and healthy, so long as you take the necessary immunizations and you protect them, let their bodies develop natural immunity, So these are some of the issues that we're facing. And then you mentioned the issue of cost. It's expensive, unfortunately.
Let's talk about that.
It's expensive, and I wish that our government will do something about it. Now they are improving in terms of providing national health insurance for everybody.
But it doesn't cover it, does it?
But it doesn't cover IVF to a large extent. So I'm looking at a future, and I'll be happy if this present administration can look into that, including the option of IVF into the primary healthcare, sector. So don't think it has to be a specialist thing, and person now has to pay out of pocket, but you make it in such a way that it's affordable for, every man on the streets.
What's the range of costs? I know it's not just one figure across the, but what can one look at generally from what amount to what amount, if you have to mention? Okay,
so if you're going for IVF and you're under 35, say for instance, you should comfortably look at like a 1.6 million. Which covers the screening, because we have to screen you and make sure that what you're presenting with is what the hospital can work with in terms of getting you good results. So it covers the screening, it covers the medication, it covers the procedure itself. But if you're over 35 and you need some variants of IVF, like I mentioned, the donor egg conception or donor sperm conception or surrogacy, then the costs go a lot more higher. So you'll be looking at like a 2.5 million range, or sometimes as high as 3 million to accommodate the compensation for the donors that will come on the scene. And if you're now going in for full-time surrogacy, oh no, you're looking at like a 7, 8, 9 million range. Wow. So it's expensive. And we need to understand that IVF is expensive worldwide. It's not just in Nigeria. The procedure is costly. The reagents they use, the doctors have to retrain time and time again. The tools they use, you know. So these things affect the cost of, you know, whatever service that hospital will give the patient.